All right, we're going for burn test number 2, and this one we're gonna be testing the actual burn of the wicks inside the jars to make sure that we've got the right wick in the right container. So basically what I've done is I've got 2 candles sitting right here. I'm gonna go ahead and light them. We're gonna check it at the hour mark just to see what the melt pool is like, and then check it at 2 hours and then 4 hours, because we wanna make sure that the wick is at full burn, gonna be the right size wick for the container. So what I'm using right here, and I'll go ahead and show you. I've got 2 different candles. This one has already been burned, but I'm gonna burn it again to show you. And then we've got a new one that I just poured, and it's a wooden wick. I'm using IGI 6006. I've got a medium wooden wick from Lone Star Candle Supply in here, and then I've got an HTP 104 in this one. And when I do a test burn on these, I like to put them halfway up the jar. That way, when the wick burns, if you melt it, or if you start the wick at the very top of the candle, you can see if you can get a full melt pool going all the way across. I like to get it down here just because when you do have a candle that's at full burn, halfway down the candle, the flame that goes up the jar is going to affect the glass too, which is going to ultimately affect your melt pool. So I like to do a test burn at halfway. That way the wick also heats up the glass, which is going to give you a little bit bigger melt pool. So this is definitely something you want to do. That's why it's a good idea to test burn a candle from top to bottom, just so that you get a good even burn all the way down. So we're going to go ahead and light these. All right, so both of those are going. We're gonna come back and check those at 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. And right now it is creeping up on, it's just now hitting 5 o'clock. So we're gonna test those at 6, 7, and 9 o'clock and see what they look like. All right, so 6 o'clock, it's 1 hour. We're gonna go ahead and check the melt pool on these at 1 hour. All right, so there we go. It's the cotton wick and the wooden wick. And you can tell, I wanted to point out, I was knocking these wicks down, so these are a little filthier than they normally are. I wasn't really concerned with, see like those little floaties running around in there. I normally wouldn't do that. I would blow the candles out, knock those down, but we're just going after a burn test on this. So there's the melt pool on the wood wick. You can see it's not too bad. It's almost edge to edge at an hour. The cotton wick, now this one has already melted before, so that wax right there is starting to melt a little bit more than it normally would, like if you were at the top of the glass. But both of those are going pretty good. All right, so we'll go ahead and check those at 7 now. All right, so it's 8:30. This is about 3.5 hours, and this is what the melt pool looks like now. So the flames in these are still pretty good. They're not, that one's a little high, but not too bad. Got a little bit of mushrooming going on. But at 3.5 hours, the melt pools on those, that one's a little on the big side. And that's the HTP 104 in the 8-ounce jelly jar. And that one is the medium wood wick in a 9-ounce straight jar. That one is perfect. And you can see in this one, I just blew these out, but I wanted to get back in here and record. The reason why I like to test these down low like this is because I want to see what kind of soot is building up. And I also want to see how hot the jars get, which is going to affect your melt pool. So this one right here, you could probably get away with the HTP 93 in this one. I usually do the 104 in this one because it creates a little bit bigger melt pool and it throws off the scent a little bit stronger, but it does burn through the candle a little bit quicker, and you do get more soot at the top of this than you would with the 93. All right, so real quick and easy, that's exactly how I do my burn test. I usually fill the glass up about halfway. I let it burn for around 3 to 4 hours just to see what the full melt pool is gonna be like. And I also like to see what a full melt pool at 3 to 4 hours, what that flame is gonna do to the glass. Because when the glass gets really hot, it's gonna melt your wax in the jar a little bit more than it normally would. So you definitely wanna make sure that you burn a candle when you do a test burn at least halfway down, just not at the top, because your melt pool is gonna be affected the further it gets down. And you also wanna make sure that your candle can handle a burn that goes past the 4-hour mark. Now, most people tell their customers not to burn a candle for longer than 3 hours at the max, but people are going to do it. So you want to make sure that your candle, if it goes past that, it can handle that, and it's not going to get a wick that's going to just burn crazy hot and just go right through the candle and basically turn what should be a 40-hour candle into about a 15-hour candle because somebody didn't watch it, or you put a wick that was too big and couldn't handle something that went longer than a 5 or 6 hour burn. So that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can get in touch with me at all the links down below. The DIY Facebook group just went over 7,000 members, very active community. So jump on over there if you haven't already. Subscribe for more. And of course, you can send any questions your way. Ask any questions down below in the comments. I answer every single one of them. Get in touch with me through Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat.